Hey guys, welcome to another episode of DeLuSioNaL's Arcade. So it is finally here. We are building a Vewlix clone. If you guys aren't familiar with what a Vewlix is, this is a full-size Vewlix. It's actually a clone made by Extension Arcades, but it's a little kit that you can put together. In this case, this one has a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 theme, has a side art and everything. But we're gonna kind of simplify it a little bit, and we're gonna head over here. And these are the Vigolix cabs. That's Vigolix. It's actually named after Vigo from BYOAC forums. He actually created this in his mind out of a 4x8 sheet of half-inch MDF or plywood. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in this video and we can kind of show you the steps I did in order to create one. Alright guys, so I have it on a monitor here, that way you can see it with my computer, with my Mac attached. This is SketchUp. You can download for free on the internet. It's just a freeware program by Google. The extensions for this are .skp. It's a SketchUp file. So you could always go into the link in the description and you can download mine and feel free to use it, whatever. I actually got it originally from Dr. Check. He's a user over at the BYOAC forums. So here it is. This is it right here. This is a program. You could actually, you know, maneuver everything in real time. You can see everything's all 3D in 3D space. You could zoom in, like here. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff. Zoom out, zoom in. So I'm gonna go ahead, and you could also move them around. So if I wanna just like move where I am and how I'm looking at it, what angle I wanna view it at. It's really neat, great program, and it's all free. So I'm gonna go ahead and load the original file that I got from Dr. Check over on the forums. And I'll link to the description also. He has a, you know, have a whole bunch of topics where it shows how to build different versions of this Vigolix here. But he originally came up with this. It got me interested, so I downloaded it and I just modified it to my needs, and you guys can do the same. So this is the way he did it. I don't think at the time he had designed the marquee yet, graphics, but he did kind of paint this. Kind of looks really neat, the way it looks like racing stripes and stuff. I chose to make mine just plain black. But what I did instead is I added the T-molding. You don't see it here, but on mine, you know, I painted T-molding in to simulate that on the half-inch MDF. And this is it, how it is to scale. You can see he did the same thing where he made it straight for your foot and go to back as well. On mine, I don't think I have this in the SketchUp plan either. I think I added this as I went along. But you could see the way he did it here. He didn't put that 1.5 inch by 5.5 inch piece of wood. I did it to kind of weigh it down, and I made it flush to the back, and it's really great because then you can put stuff on it like the power brick for the JAMA, you know, for the setup, or you know, you can put a computer on there. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. So I chose to do that just to give it a little more weight because I felt it was a little wobbly. And then you can see here, you know, it has all the LCD and all that stuff. My plan doesn't have that in there. I guess I can add it at a later date, but at this point I just gave you my old file that I had. But pretty much you'll just want to do what I told you. Just take that piece of wood, kind of nail it or screw it in on either end, and then put the board flush to that, and it makes it real easy, along with that extra support beam that I gave it right here. So on mine, let me go ahead and go to that. Let's see, on the separate window, Batman, here we go. So on this one, all I did was, you know, you change the graphics to whatever you need. I added the T-molding, so I changed the color to something that I wanted. And, you know, it came out looking pretty good. You know, if you want to see how it is underneath, let me see if I can do that, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in as well. You just use the zoom button. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, so there it is. I actually use half buttons, believe it or not. Here, let me center it a little better. Yeah, so I used half buttons because that's what the model had, just to get a feel for what it is. You know, this is also a half joystick, but you know, you're gonna cut it, this whole control panel here, this piece of wood, you're gonna cut it to whatever you want. I went to Slagcoin, and I'll have a link in the description as well, where you can download all kinds of layouts for free. You just basically print it out, put it over it, and then kind of go from there. Here, let me go ahead and show you on the top. So, you know, it has different layouts you can use. So all this software right here is free. I mean, you know, you can download the model. And what's cool about this, let's say you need to measure, you know, how much everything is. There's a little tape measure tool on top. You can see it right here. If you go on it, it says tape measure. You just click on it and you can measure. So it kind of snaps to where it needs to go. So right now it's snapped to the corner. Kind of hold the mouse button down, go to the edge, and now it says 16 inches exactly. So that's how you'd measure stuff. It's really easy to do. That's actually 16.5 because I went to the edge because it's a 1/2 inch wood. So it's really dead on accurate. So if you want to get measurements from this model, you can. I mean, you know, they're pretty on. And then here, same thing. You can just go to the edge and you go to the edge over here and you do the same thing. So it's really neat the way that works. Here, let me actually escape here. There we go. So let me go back to the tape measure tool. So if I want to measure, you know, the distance from like right here, kind of go to here to the edge, and it tells you exactly how many inches it is. And it's really great. It's a great little tool. This whole SketchUp thing is just amazing. I mean, it gets you to kind of design it, and you can put your own graphics to see what you want. You can change it up. And before I ordered them from, I ordered my graphics from Game On Graphics. The reason I did that is because they do digital printing. This is a custom cabinet, so I'm not worried about, you know, keeping it exactly like the original because this is my original cabinet, right? So it's all custom. I guess it has some sort of polycarbonate, you know, coating on it, so it lasts longer. Like you can totally like wipe it down, it'll be fine. It's really, really durable stuff, and I totally recommend it. I used, what I did was I ordered a sheet that was this long, and then I also ordered a marquee, and then I ended up cutting it. So I designed the marquee and everything in Photoshop. That's the other thing. If you guys need artwork, just hit me up because I can get that to you as well. I don't mind sharing it. I have all kinds of colors. I have orange, yellow, green, red, purple, pink. I mean, I did it in all the colors, and you could always modify it. Like in this case, I added the Batman logo instead of the Space Invaders that you see on my other machine. So yeah, guys, so this is it. It's really cool. You can zoom in, you can check it out, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can measure, like I said, with the tape measure. Really, really easy program to use. There are tons of tutorials online, which is also great. So, you know, you can really, if you don't know how to use it, just go to YouTube. You know, YouTube has great information on how to build stuff, just like you're coming here on how to build this thing. So, really invaluable tool. SketchUp, at first, it's a little intimidating, but once you get to know it, and especially if you have an existing template to work with, the measuring tool is really the most important thing here because you want to measure the exact dimensions, transfer them over to a real piece of wood and cut it. And I think that's it. And the plexi size you can measure as well because then you can see what fits in there. I made mine a little longer because I ended up cutting a groove in the control panel itself in order to kind of have it kind of go in that lip, you know, with the brackets. So this doesn't have the brackets included. I actually did that afterwards and I think it came out pretty good. So you'll figure it out. Part of doing it, you know, this is really a guideline on how to do it. And then you'll kind of tailor it to your taste and the way you want it to be. So, okay, so let's jump back and see exactly, and we'll continue with this build. All right, guys, so here it is. This is actually the 24 inches by 48 inch piece of MDF. It's actually 1/2 inch. It's 2 feet by 4 feet. Not sure what the millimeters is, so you'll have to look it up and do the conversion yourself if you're trying to use metric. I'll actually throw up a diagram here. This is actually from the forums, and you can grab this, I guess, on the forums. You can download it. It's just a PDF or a JPEG actually. So, you know, I'll show you the exact measurements of what to do. So basically just split it in half. So I just did that. So it's 12 inches and 12 inches. You split it straight in half. Just be careful. Sometimes I'll pre-cut it for you. This one here was already pre-cut. You just grab it from a bin in Home Depot. However, on the end, you'll see here, I actually marked off where 48 inches was because it was a little too long. They cut it a little bit too long there, even though they advertised it as 48 inch by 24 inch. Just be careful on that. So you just split it in half, and then you'll mark every 16 inches. You'll put like a mark there, a mark there, and that's, you know, basically the two front panels, and then that would be the control panel right there, and then the two sides, you'll just mark 2 inches on each side and kind of just do that out. And then you'll use every bit. So once you kind of divide this diagonally here, those are the two sides. You'll kind of put what I call the Atari Gauntlet notches. You'll see those on Atari Gauntlet cabs on the back as well. So it kind of gives it a characteristic look. So you're going to use those scrap pieces of wood, so you definitely want to cut those out. And that's it. So, you know, just take your time. You can use a jigsaw. That's how I built my first one. Then you kind of clamp the two sides together right here, and you sand them so they're even on the edges. Or you can use a router if you're more advanced, if you have, you know, more advanced tools. I did my second one with the router. It was a lot easier, where I just kind of sanded the first side to what shape I wanted, then I just clamped it to the other one and made it match. So it's pretty easy to do. So that's it, very simple. It's actually made from, technically it's not one piece of wood. You'll have some other pieces of wood, which I'll show you once I put this thing together. So let's go ahead and cut this out. We'll skip ahead and kind of just go straight to the assembly. All right, guys, so we are back, and I had to stop myself. I started assembling it. I actually cut everything to the lines. I mean, there's no sense in showing you all that. Basically, just use a scroll saw, and then you can just sand one of the sides till you like it, and then just take a router, kind of match up the other side. Or you can just cut them. I mean, that's how I built my first one. I cut each one individually, each side, and then put them together, clamped them together, and sanded them together to kind of get them equal. So you definitely wanted to have them as an exact match. And what I did over here, you can see on the back, this actually isn't included on the 4x8 piece of wood, so make sure you get some extra wood. I used real wood for this because I felt it was stronger, because I'm actually putting nails inside. I put it about this deep. Definitely want to put a pilot hole. You don't want this cracking on you. So drill a pilot hole here and here, not on the outside, kind of on the inside before you put the arm on. Just drill it right there, put it in. This is actually going to hold the two together. So what I suggest you do is get a pair of clamps, clamp this and this on there, and then once you have it all lined up, kind of mark where it goes over here on the side, and then you can just drill. So 4 screws right there. On the bottom, you're going to get, I believe that's 5.5 inch by 1.5 inch board. Let me just double check here. I'm actually going to get a quick tape, measuring tape. Yeah, so that's exactly how much it is. It's 5.5, and then on this side it's 1.5 inch. It's 16 across, obviously, so you just get a whole board, one of these. And the reason you're getting this, you don't have to do this, but I did it, is because it adds some weight to the bottom. You need that weight so it won't kind of topple over. If you're putting a PC on here, a PC can fit here, kind of one of those miniature PCs you put in the back. If you're going the MAME route on that, you can do that. I use a 16-1, which I attached right here. And just put the JAMA harness and the little power brick that you see, which I'll show you later in the video. But yeah, it does add a little weight, gives us some sturdiness there. So those are the 2 core components, that one right there and the other one. You're gonna mount this exactly to the edge here on the bottom. This part here on top doesn't have to line up exactly, but you definitely want this to be flush along with that there. Once you do that, you put it all together. You kind of put this part first. That's what I did. I kind of just put this on a level surface. You definitely want to put a leveler on here just to make sure it's all level. And the second thing you would attach is here where you put the 4 screws. Once those 2 things are in, you have a standing cabinet. You're good to go. That's when you start adding the first board, which is here. This one goes straight down, exactly flush. On the other side, you're going to have 2 screws, one going here and one going here, just to kind of secure it. You can put Bondo on it afterwards. And I did use some dowels here. I did glue them in as well. That's really important that you want to use glue. If you don't use glue over time, it's going to wobble on you. So you want to put glue and screw it. So you're going to do both so it's nice and sturdy. This here, we're going to Bondo later on, where you throw some Bondo on here. You don't have to do the back, it's not going to show, but on the front, you're going to see that crack. It could be okay if you don't want to do it. On mine, I wanted to give it a more seamless look, so I threw Bondo in there and sanded it. On my first one, I'm probably going to do it on this as well. And let me swing around to the front again. So you have that. See how it's going straight up? The reason you want it going straight up is because your foot is going to be right here while you're playing. So you want as much room as you can. It's kind of like a desk to get underneath the control panel, which is sticking out here. So these pieces are from here. That's the side that you're cutting out. So you're reusing these pieces, and then there's a smaller piece that kind of goes in the middle here. So yeah, so that's the base. Pretty simple to make. Obviously, I didn't show that the piece that you have here, this is another piece that you'll have to make, which is the marquee, which goes from here to here. You can make it light up if you want. I chose not to. It's just a lot simpler. We're trying to keep this on a budget here. And this machine right here is like, you know, once you're all done, it's like under 200 bucks. You know, including the monitor. I mean, the monitor I got for free. 17-inch monitor LCDs. People are giving them away, you know, especially if they're not widescreen. You definitely do not want widescreen. So, all right, guys, so let me cut ahead. You know, I'm gonna work on this for a couple days, and then I'll come back when it's nice and painted, and we can apply the artwork, and I can show you exactly what I did with that. So there it is. You can do it. All right, guys, so we're back. So I have an old panel here that I cut a while back. I actually put it on the side. You can see it's a little dirty here, and I ended up not using this because I did a big flub. I actually cut these fine. I did everything fine. I did all the routing I had to do, but I cut the joystick a little too big. So what'll happen is the washer will end up hitting it all the time when you're moving, and that could take off the artwork, so you don't want to do that. So this I cut a little too big, so I ended up trashing it. I mean, you can salvage it if you wanted to get a big washer, but I felt it looked too big, so I ended up scrapping it. But I still wanted to show it to you just to show you what I did. So over here, what I did was once I put it inside the vigo-lix, I put the plexi where it needed to go, and then I kind of measured where it hit here by just drawing the line, and then you know, measured a little bit here, and then just routed here. That way the plexi kind of falls into this groove here, and you don't have to worry about fastening it down, and then you can just secure it with the top marquee like I had it there. So you could do it many other ways as well, but I felt this is the cleanest look, so you won't see any screws or anything on the outside of the plexi. On the other side, I just wanted to show you that as well. You could see right here, this is where I, actually I'll show you this way. This is where after I cut the 30, I basically cut with another bigger bit. And this one, it ended up coming out a little too small. That's the other reason I scrapped it. You want to make them a little bigger. It doesn't matter how big you make them, as long as you can actually get your finger in there to kind of get the screw in. And you'll see later on, I show underneath with the panel that I cut. So this is what not to do. So don't make it too small. You want to get a bigger bit here. So if you go to Slagcoin, and I'll have the link in the description, you can actually just kind of paste the button layout on top, which is what I did. I didn't even bother with the joystick because I just measured when my hands were comfortable. So if you don't want to cut it right away, just get a piece of cardboard and kind of figure out where you want them. And, you know, you can actually install the buttons on the cardboard and kind of feel, you know, where your hands are and stuff. But in this case, I didn't do that. I just went to Slagcoin, put it on top. What you do is you drill a pilot hole first. After you drill the pilot hole, which goes all the way through, you'll be able to drill halfway for the 30mm, then you flip it over. You can still see the pilot hole where you drilled originally, and then you take that, center it up, and then just do the outside, which is a little bigger, and then you'll be able to screw the OBSN buttons in without an issue. So that's how I did this panel, so I just wanted to show you real quick, and this is really the most important part here, is where I routed so that the plexi can go in. So let's go ahead and continue, and I'll show you the rest of it. All right, guys, so we're back. So I did a lot of work on this. I actually did all the painting. I basically primed it. You don't have to prime it. I've done them without prime. I usually just get the paint with the primer built in. So I did the sides. I actually got satin. Satin finish is the best, I think. It doesn't look shiny, but it looks kind of semi-gloss almost. But it's not as shiny as semi-gloss. What else? I also got space black was what I got. That's usually, I think it's called deep space. Deep space, I can't remember. I'll put it in the description. But that's the one that I use in a satin finish. And then for here, I use a different brand. I use Lowe's. I'll post it on the screen. But basically, I use a Lowe's brand orange. I kind of tried matching it to the T-molding that you can get on 3/4 inch, the orange. And it really did complement the buttons. So after I did everything, I painted the whole thing black. This has primer built in as well, so it was really easy to go over everything, and I just you know, just traced everything. So this goes all the way under here, all down here. Did the whole thing, the whole theme, even this underneath, on the back. Here, I'll turn it around so you guys can see. So this is the back, and you can see I already started putting the speakers in and the power supply. I threw the 16 inside already, closed it up, and you know, started doing all the wiring and stuff, and I have the monitor. So I put everything, I kind of built it beforehand, ahead of time, And now I'm just painting it, and I'm putting a new overlay on it. But this is what you want to see when it's done. This actually is a sanding block. What happened was it felt a little rough in spots, so I just took this. This is like 320 grit, but you can take 200 grit. This is just what I had on hand, and I just took it and sanded it down so it's nice and smooth now. Right here there's a couple bumps. You do want to stick it on painted surface, but this I didn't really get down to the wood. It is a little bit here, but it won't matter at this point because that's going to have the bolt. But you want to take some denatured alcohol, so we're going to go ahead and do that and then put on the overlay so you can see how nice it looks. Alright guys, so here it is. Right now I'm taking some denatured alcohol. You can take regular, here, I'll put this here so you can see it. You can use some regular rubbing alcohol as well. It's like 70% alcohol. This is used for like, in the pharmacy and stuff. You just want to get the oils off, so you can use either this. I just happen to have denatured alcohol here, which is like pure alcohol. You just want to take a little bit of it. You don't want to get it crazy wet, but... Alright, so I'm going to close that up. And now, you'll see it evaporates really quickly. You're just getting any contaminants off, oils, stuff like that. You really want it to stick really well. And this goes for any sticker application, I mean side art as well. You really want to get it super, super clean. Rapid Tack will do it as well. I just don't have that on hand. But you can see there's some stuff coming off because I had sanded it earlier. So you want it super clean. I might put a little bit more here. All right, great. Okay, so the artwork that I have is this. They actually wanted everything changed from blue, you've probably seen it previously, to this color. And it's actually measured pretty close. It's not exactly on, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it on, and then we're just gonna take an X-Acto knife and trim it. You can see there's like a seam here from where the 3 pieces of wood. This is a smaller one that you saw at the beginning on the left side, and then these are the longer ones that you salvage, and you kind of just put them all together. So it's a little weird because I have all these little sticky things around here. Alright, so that's going to go exactly right there, and you can see where the seam is. So it's going to go on this side, right there. The other one's going to go over here, right there. So let me go ahead and grab some painter's tape. I'm going to put it on this side, peel it back. I'm going to apply the front first because I want this to be perfectly on. It doesn't matter if it hangs over a little bit on the back, you could always trim that off. But you want that to be completely flush, and then we'll cut out the joysticks and everything after. Okay, so now that it's all clean, I have the artwork. I got mine from Game On Graphics. They used to be mainmarquees.com. I just like their stuff. They have really durable control panel overlays. I got the marquee and this. What I did was I just got a humongous sheet and just put marquee on there, and I also put this because the marquee doesn't light up, so I'm just using CPO grade stuff on the top here. And I already have that. Let me see if I can show it to you. So this is it. It's going to go right there. I already put it behind the plexi and everything. This is plexiglass, just sandwiched in. And I did stick the sticker. I painted the back just like this side here. Stuck it on there, put the plexiglass over it, and then put these brackets on. And there it is. So let's go ahead and apply this. So the first thing I want to do, I'm just going to put some painter's tape down just to line it up where I want it. And there's no need to measure because with the vigo-lix cabinet, you can see the seams of pieces of wood. Like this is the first piece of wood right here, that's the second one there, and then this is the third. So you want to get it like right along that. And we'll actually trim it later on with an X-Acto knife. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to go ahead and look closely like this and line it up. That looks right. Okay. I'm gonna get the other side. And let's see if I can line it up here. It's a little off. There we go. So that should do it. So that's basically where it's gonna go. So I'm just putting this on. Let's see if I can grab it. There it is. So you're gonna peel it back, and if you do have to grab it in the middle. Don't grab it on the edge, because that part's gonna curl up on you if you don't do that later on. You definitely don't want your oils on there. All right. So in this case, I'm gonna kind of do, I'm doing it very lightly. This is super sharp, and you don't want to do what I'm doing on a surface that you want that's showing, but this isn't going to show, so it's not a big deal. Oh, actually, I messed that one up. There we go. All right, so that's the part that I want dead on. So I'm literally, and this is so thick you don't even need felt. You can use the felt and the Bondo squeegee, but I'm not doing that. And it goes right in. Excellent. I actually prefer for this small application using my fingers, because I can feel everything. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now I can remove the tape. I know it's 3M painter's tape, but I never rip it off. I always take it off carefully, just to be safe. You never want to just rip it. Alright, so now we're going to grab this side, lift it up, and you can see it here. Actually, I'm going to take it off this end and do that. Okay. There we go. So that's it. And now I'm just going to kind of just work it in there. Any air bubbles that you see are going to be humongous. That one I thought was an air bubble. It's actually the hole. So you're just applying it, still holding it up. And I could see the joystick hole here. And now I'm just letting it go. These are where the holes are at. So I could see. I usually do a little cross. You can also, another tip, I mean, I'll show you with my cell phone. I've done this many times. I mean, I can feel where they are, but you could always do this. You can see how they light up. I prefer to do it from the top because I know where they are. The buttons, you don't have to be as exact as a joystick. I mean, you have a washer on here that lifts up, so you'll see. So this one's nice and clean, but if you mess these up, it's not a big deal because it has like a ring around it, which is going to cover your mistake. There we go. That one looks a little bit jagged there. It's not a big deal. It's going to be covered, not worried. So let's press it a little bit. And I'm going to cut dead center. So now we'll put the plexi right in there and it'll look beautiful. You could see about where it folds. I'm actually folding it with my finger here. So let's go ahead and throw the buttons in. They're actually Sanwa buttons. These are, I think they're OBSF 30s. Let's see. So I'll put that in, and then underneath, I'll just screw it in, and it'll have no problem grabbing because, you know, I already did the indentation that I'll show you in a bit. And if you notice, I mean, you can use a hap joystick if you wanted to, but the bolt pattern is going to be different. This one for the Sanwas they're more like a rectangle, and the haps are more square. So the haps would probably be like here, 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 and here. So I used it because it was a little more low profile for underneath. And since I'm using the Japanese buttons, I was actually trying them at that time, and I kind of liked them. But you can build them with regular hap joysticks. And I believe that's 1 1/8 inch hole, and these are 30 millimeter holes because it's Japanese joysticks, so you have to get the metric measurement. So that's gonna go like that underneath. So I'm gonna face this here. This is a connector. I'm gonna face it to the back because I don't want it to be in the front. I have the connector already there. So let me go ahead and flip this over. I'll come back because I want to show you guys how I cut these holes here so that the screws can go on there. All right, guys, so what I did was I flipped it upside down. I leaned it up against one of my older cabinets and kind of have it balanced there. But it should be okay. We're not really gonna do too much here. So what I was gonna show you earlier was this right here. Here, I'll unscrew it. Actually, I'll put a new one in to show you guys what I mean. But basically, this here is 30 millimeter, and you kind of just drill through, and then you'll see it poke through. And as soon as you see it goes halfway, you kind of, like the middle part will actually poke through. Then you'll take that end and go the other way. So it's really easy to do. Actually, probably a better way of doing it is once you get an overlay here and it has a little plus where you can drill a hole in each one. And then that'll go all the way through. So you go halfway this way with the 30 millimeter and then the rest with the other bigger bit. Just make sure the bit is a little bigger. I cut mine almost the same, so it's a little hard to screw in. You could actually make it a little bigger if you wanted to. I'm not sure what size I used, but just use this as a, when you get a hole saw or whatever it is. But I don't think, let me think. I believe you need either a spade bit or a Forster bit. I don't think a hole saw will work because you need to kind of scrape away at everything, and the hole saw will kind of just cut the outside and that's it. So I got a 30 millimeter here, and then I just used an American 1 1/4 inch or bigger. I can't remember, a 1 1/2 inch. I can't remember exactly. And then that'll fit in there just fine. So that's what I did. Basically you're grabbing, you pop it through like that, and you're grabbing the edge, and it lets you kind of grip on there, and you can still tighten it just fine. So you put the second one in, and it's a nice tight fit. And this one goes on like that. It actually has a little grips here, that's how you can tell. This side doesn't, so that'll be towards the button so it grips onto the wood. So there's two. And if you can't fit your finger in there, I'll just tighten it like this. You just kind of, get it nice and snug there. So that's pretty good. You don't have to go crazy. And the last one, we'll stick in this way. And I believe it goes on this way, yeah. So there it is. If you guys are wondering how do you get these on 1/2 inch, that's how you do it. So here's the jammer wiring that I had in there before. And what I'm going to do now is put on the joystick. 2, 3, and 4. And you can get lock washers too. I never find the need. It's never come loose. I do use the Loctite though, blue. That's a non-permanent version. So basically you want to just screw all these in. I'm not going to do it now because it's going to take too long. But you screw all those in all the way down, tighten it, put the Loctite before you screw the last part in there. So you want like a drop there, drop there, drop there, drop there. Get them in nice and snug, it'll dry, and then it won't vibrate loose. But if you need to take it out, you just take a wrench and it'll snap right off. All right, guys, so we're back. So I decided actually, I found the stuff, by the way, the Loctite. So this is the blue. Usually you gotta shake it. I don't know how much I have left, but you kind of want to just, put a little drop here, like a blue glob. And what happens is when it goes through the threads, when you screw it down, it dries and it becomes semi-permanent. It's not really permanent, but it keeps it from vibrating. Okay. All right. What else? I guess I'll put the joystick in there later. So I want to go ahead and just have everything ready. And by the way, I cut the hole out here. It was just easy since it was lit from the top. I just went underneath of my X-Acto blade and made a hole. So this is a 24mm hole that you have to drill in there. This is a snap-on. It doesn't, I don't believe it comes in the one with the screw on the bottom. But I've never ever had any issues. I thought about gluing it in there, but I've never had an issue where it popped out. I actually made this when I cut it. I mean, I didn't sand it or anything around, so it is a really snug fit. This is really meant for a metal control panel where it snaps in there, but it actually works pretty well. Let me put it in there. I guess once you paint it, I mean, it's really snug. It's not going anywhere. Plus, I'm going to solder this on top of that. So, all right. So there it is. I'm going to leave it that way for now until I figure out what buttons are what. There you go. So it's in. So basically this thing right here, the restrictor, you can change it. So right now it's set, these little things here actually can fall into these. I don't know if you could see, there's one here and there's one here. So I'll point again here and here. And you just turn it so that it's facing 8-way, which is instead of the corners being here, the corners will be like there, 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 and there. And it becomes 8-way. So I have 4-way games because I'm using a 16-1. But if you guys like shoot 'em ups, that's what you want to build, that's what you make it. All right, guys, so what do you think? I just flipped it over. We have our joystick, nice 4-way joystick. We have the buttons in. We still have to figure out what wire goes to what. That's not a big deal. That's very trivial at this point. Anyway, so here's the plexi. And what I did to create this plexi was really simple. You basically attach the monitor, then you put your glass in, and you kind of put it in the groove that you routed out. And on the top, you know, you basically figure out where it is on the glass. You take painter's tape, one here, one here, one here, one here. You put it on the front first. Then what you do is, because you're basically seeing where the bezel ends, where you want it to start. Then you flip it over. When you flip it over, you'll see where the black is. So what you do is then you tape on the inside of where that line is, all with painter's tape. Then you cover the rest with newspaper, and then you go to town, you spray the outside with any kind of black paint is fine. I use Krylon, worked fine. Then peel it off, flip it around, put it back, instant bezel. It's one of the easiest bezels to do, nice and neat. I mean, plexiglass, you know, it already came all cut. I actually got this from Tap Plastics. It's, I believe it's space gray, or I can't remember the actual tint that I use, but I use the darkest tint that they had. It's great because when you shut it off, it looks completely dark. You cannot see any monitor, but when you turn it on, it looks so bright. And LCDs are usually bright, and it just looks perfect in my opinion. And it looks great. I mean, I use it on all the Vigolixes that I build. So this marquee, the way I designed it is I have 2 screws. So you have one up here and one below. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have it so I'll screw in the first top, and then it'll swivel. And then it'll kind of press against that because that's already in the groove on the bottom. And then this will kind of be on the top. So that's exactly what holds in the glass. A lot of people were like, how the heck are you holding that glass in? That's how I did it. So I kind of brainstormed a little bit. This is the stuff. I'm going to put it on the screen now, but you can get it at Home Depot. I don't know if you've seen the drop ceiling like in basements and in businesses and stuff. They're usually white. They have like that crisscross pattern. I took one of those. So you can see right here, this is a side of it. That's the other side. And all I did was I cut here and I cut here with a hacksaw, painted it black, screwed that to the wood itself. So I have 3 screws right here, and then I'm able to kind of swivel it and basically put it where I need, and then I drilled holes on the side here and here for the second set once it was all pressed firmly on there, and that's it, held it in place. So that's how my solution was. And here was, this is just a bracket that I got. I think it's in the shade section. It's a corner protector basically for shades. And then this side is not painted, so it comes out looking super, super shiny. But the paint is actually on the other side, on the inside. And this one's on the outside, obviously, but it's metal, so it painted really well. And that's it. That's all I did, get creative. So that's it. So it's looking like a little cabinet now, finally, huh? Cool, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the LCD in there. Then I'm gonna kind of go through the cabinet. I guess from top to bottom, we can kind of see exactly what's what. And if you guys have any questions, I can always revisit it and put it in a future episode. Because I still have, you know, the Vigolix that I built for my son, the green one. So yeah, so let's go ahead and put the thing in and I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the monitor in. I just wanted to show you something too. This is a 17-inch monitor, and this at the time was a super expensive monitor. Has a really good viewing angle and stuff. Fits perfectly in there, just like that. I have the controls facing on this side. You'll want to pay attention to that, whatever board you put in. So make sure that if you're using Windows or whatever, that you don't have it the opposite way or this way. You'll have to, depending on your monitor, just test it out first. However, there are some monitors. This is another EIZO. This is a 19-inch, and this will fit in a vigo-lix. So if you guys want a 19-inch monitor in your vigo-lix, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I use a 17. You can do a 19 in it, guys, because it will fit. This one just has a super thin bezel everywhere, so it will fit in there. But you may have to move this back slightly to accommodate because it's a little thicker in the back, but it will fit. You know, you can have it like down here somewhere, and it could still fit the marquee on top and everything. FlexScan L788 is a 19-inch, and the 17-inch is a EIZO FlexScan L568. So let's go ahead and put this one in there. This is the one that I originally had. So all you have to do is tighten these up. I'm just going to tighten them slightly here. I'll tighten them more later. And I'll show you how it looks in the back later, so don't worry. All right, so that's it. Now, you can literally, I mean, I have to still clean it and stuff too. You can throw this on here, like so. I'm not sure if it goes this way or the other way, I'm not really too sure. But see how they flex out? You can get everything in there. There it is right now, it's in there. And then the top will go in like this. Bam. Perfect. See how you can't see the monitor behind? It's so dark. When you turn it on, it's gonna spring to life. It's gonna be amazing. So there it is, guys. Let me go ahead and assemble the rest of this, and I'll kind of do a walkthrough and everything. All right, guys, here it is, the completed vigo-lix cab. It's a custom one. It's like an orange and gray and black, and it came out really good. I like how it goes from the gray to the orange. This is a custom joystick top I got from focusattack.com. Has kind of like a checkerboard pattern. It's almost looks like it's airbrushed on. It's really good, and then I guess they have a coating on top of that. It's a little more for these ball tops, but it was worth it because this kind of matches that orange and it kind of fades. And also the bottom portion, I don't know if you could see here, I got a cover for it. Kind of covers the metal part of the shaft with a piece of plastic that matches this. And this is a little bigger than the standard Sanwa dust washers. And I did it because the hole that I had cut originally was a little too big, and it may have caused, you know, this to kind of lift up a little bit, which caused the kids to kind of peel it back. So now there's no chance it can do that. And it also has the gray theme, which, you know, goes with the rest of it. So it kind of goes from gray to orange. So it came out really well. This is a 17-inch monitor, like I stated earlier. You know, I did not put T-molding on it. That's actual paint. Kind of simulates T-molding. This here is that bracket I talked about, which I painted black from the inside. And then this is that ceiling, drop ceiling stuff that I painted black as well. Usually comes in white. And there it is. There's the bottom portion of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back. You guys can see the back. And this is the back of the marquee. It's unlit. There's a 17-inch monitor. There's the Visa mount things that I was talking about. I only put the two bottom ones. It's not really that heavy, so it works really well. It's in there nice and solid. I have the power cord going here all the way down. I also have, it's really hard to see. Let me see if I can grab it. There it is. There's a scan line generator in there. So you have the VGA connector here and the scan line generator there, which I actually use double-sided tape, the thick kind, to kind of put on the back, and it's stuck there really good so it won't come out. And then if you look down here, I managed to slip in computer speakers. They're the small 2.1 surround. Comes with a small subwoofer. Actually, you know what? In this case, it doesn't. On mine, I actually upgraded it to have the sub on it, but this one does not. It's just the two speakers, you know, that I kind of recycled. I think I got these at Radio Shack, but you could probably get them on Amazon or somewhere. And then you have the volume control, which is right here. You could turn it off if you want. It's great. You could throw in headphones if you want to. So if you want some silent gaming, so you're, if you have a kid or whatnot and you're trying to do stuff, it'll be nice and silent. And then the volume, of course, which is right here. Now, if I go down, this is a portion where I covered it up. On my version, it's a little different. I'll show that later on. But you can see the speakers peeping out there. They're the bottom portions of it. It sounds really good when they're pointed up. I had originally had mine pointing down. And it sounded okay, but when you put them up, it sounds so much better because the sound kind of lifts up this way and kind of bounces off the wall. So the 60-in-1 is back there. Basically has 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You pop it out, and then you can access the dip switches or whatever else you want to do if you want to swap it out with a different board. Down here, you can see it's a little dusty. And I actually never dusted that portion off. But this here is the power supply. I just have the power brick from the speakers, which is right there. You can see the power goes right in there. I have this power brick, which is awesome. It actually plugs in. It's a Molex connector, which has plus 5 volts and plus 12 volts, and it goes right into the Molex connector on the 16-in-1. And it avoids having to have any dangerous wiring back here, you know, because there's nothing really to touch. And then this here is a monitor. So when you power this on, it basically turns the monitor on. It turns the board on, the monitor detects the board, and it goes right in and boots up. So that's it, guys. Nice and simple. There's a crossbeam here. That's actually one of the first things you want to put on. You want to kind of, when you have the sides together, you want to pop this on with that. And then if you go on the bottom here, you want to take this huge piece of wood here, which gives it stability, and get that on first. So you want this bottom portion and this on first. Keeps the sides together. You can clamp it together. Once you have those drilled in and good to go, you can kind of put in the rest of the boards, which are on the front, which I'm going to get into right now. And you can see right here, those are where the boards are. So you have the first board here. And then I actually took some Bondo. You could actually have the seam if you want here, but I don't want the seam to be there. It's a slight seam. You can see it there. But there's a space otherwise because, you know, they don't really merge together too well. So I just took the space in. I filled it with Bondo, sanded it down, painted right over it. Looks really good. So it came out well. Nice little project. I have these little feet that I bought. There's like 4 of them there. They're just rubber feet. Just if you don't have a carpet or anything, it's fine if you don't have them. but I didn't want it sliding around if you have it on hardwood floors, so put these little rubber feet on there to kind of make it stable, doesn't slide around. Works pretty well. And that's it, so there she is. You can see my other vigo-lix in the background, so let me go ahead and take that out and I'll show you the difference between that one and this one, which has the cover on it. Alright guys, so we're back. So this is the other vigo-lix. This is the original one that I built for my son. This has the Galaxian green theme. I actually based it completely on this color right here, which is the Galaxian green T-molding. This is actually paint matched. I took it to Home Depot and gave them the T-molding. They matched it and it looked really good. Nice neon kind of look. And I used a regular joystick. Here's the other thing I really wanted it to have, is I wanted it to have the Sanwa bright green and the matching buttons, which you see here. And then, you know, the Space Invader theme is kind of a nod to my other Space Invader cabinets that I had. I used to have full-size cabinets. I had a single-player one running MAME, and then I also had a dual two-player cabinet. I believe it's called Green Invader Reloaded. It's on, if you want to click on the links below, you'll see it there. So it's based on that. I really like the green, it really popped. And those cabinets I ended up selling to people that I know because they really liked it, and I didn't really have the room at the time. But now that I have the room, I don't think I'm going to build another one of these. I mean, I think the vigo-lix is perfect, but still, just the style of it is pretty cool. So let me go ahead and show you in the back the difference. So this one also has a 17-inch monitor in the back and the scanline generator, which you can see right there, which is stuck there along to the connector. See the black thing there? That's like scanline generator. That's Crafty Mechs. That's one of the first runs that he made. And here's the 16 one. So on the other one, it was covered up. On this one, it wasn't. So that's the 16 one right there. Here's the Molex connector that I was talking about. So that connector basically just goes in here and powers it. There's no need to put any power in the JAMA. And then all the JAMA is really, you can see it up here. I kind of have it in there and it goes to the front. And that's really just to the joystick and buttons. Has nothing else, no power or anything on there, no video. And then the video signal just gets plugged in right here, VGA, straight to the monitor. Pretty simple. These boards go for about, I guess about 50 bucks shipped. They're a lot cheaper than they used to be. I think when I built this, they were about 100 bucks a piece. That was a couple years ago, but they've gone down in price because then the emulation on them, because they are emulated, it's not actual hardware there. It actually has an old version of MAME on there, which wasn't too great. Some of the sounds are wrong, some of the emulation is wrong. So, you know, it's a great multi-kit, but it's not perfect. If you really want a really good one, which is also emulated, you can always get the Arcade SD, but they go for about 300 bucks. So, you know, for something cheap, this is a really cheap build that I wanted to do, under 200 bucks. You know, so that's, I chose that path, and it works great. People come over and they really like it, and it's a small cabinet, so it doesn't really take up a huge footprint, and it is portable. I've taken it to work. We had some functions where we had some high score competitions, which is cool. But anyway, let me not get off track. Over here, you're gonna see, this is the difference on this one as well, as I have the subwoofer on here. It's not a very powerful one. It's just a small 2.1 surround sound. It's actually the same speakers that you see up here. I actually took the time to turn them around to face them up, because when I built the second one, I really wanted it to, you know, it was a really good idea to do that. So this model does not have the headphone jack, but that's fine because I was keeping it in my arcade, and you know, I don't worry about it being quiet down here. So there's the sub. You have those two speakers up there, and here's the 61 that's exposed. And when you have it against the wall, I mean, this right here is actually against the wall. You know, the sound will bounce up from the speakers, and you also won't really get to that. So the wall itself is really covering. I really wanted to not have to worry about it, but if you did want to do it, all you have to do is build, see these little dowels that I have in there, square ones? You just build like a couple here, a couple on the other side, 4 screws, and bam, you put it right on, cover it right up. All right guys, so I'm gonna have some gameplay here, And I'm using a typical folding chair. If you have these, you can get these at Walmart anywhere. They actually work perfectly with these things because they're the right height. I'm 6'2", and I fit nice and comfortable here. So here I am. I'm actually going to sit down, and my legs aren't even touching the top of it. So so let's see. Let's go ahead and play here. So I'm playing Ms. Pac-Man on the 4-way here. So I'm going to play lefty. And it is a little bit, right now I have it on carpet, so it looks a little shakier than it normally is. But typically I'll put it against the wall. I just don't want to scratch my defender. And it'll be nice and stable. You can move it around. It's not a big deal. And it works great. So the scanline generator makes a world of difference. You can really see the pixels just really stand out for all the games. Alright, so we're here playing this game. So basically it's set for free play. You just press it once, goes in. So it's nice and comfortable. Joystick responds well. It's a little stiffer because I did put that spring in there. The upgrade kit from focusattack.com. They make a lot of great stuff, so you should check them out. They also carry, I believe, IL stuff, not just Japanese strictly. They have American stuff too. Yeah, let's play Mr. Deuce Castle. You never see anybody playing that. I used to like this as a kid. See if I can do it here. Cool. So the object of the game, you can get those keys. When you get those 2 keys, it actually opens up on top. You can get a letter. Here you can actually destroy the hole. There we go. You can push the ladders so they can't get you. Just gonna wait for him here. Smash. So now I'm going for the keys. Move the ladder. Smash them down. You can see it opening a little bit every time you do it. So now I'm going to go to the top. I'm just hitting these to get a little bit more points. So you want to stay right next to it. That's it. You kill them by getting all the cherries or killing them all. It gets harder and harder. Alright guys, so I zoomed in a little bit because I wanted you guys to see the scan lines. And apparently I have a safe spot there. That's so funny. But that's how it looks. They look really good. I mean, it looks better in person, of course. But those are the scan lines right there. Pretty much trying to zoom in a little bit. And it really does make a huge difference when you're playing. There we go, I finally died. So yeah, it makes a big, big difference. So I would say, you know, it costs you an extra 20 bucks to do it because that's usually how much they go for. But it's totally worth it. If you want to build the vigo-lix, you have to have a scanline generator if you're going LCD. Or any arcade for that matter, I think. Alright guys, so there you have it. Those are the vigo-lixes. They're the pair that I built there, and I really hope you guys learned from it. I mean, it's really super simple to do. They're not that cheap. I mean, it was under $200, which is cheap for an arcade machine that's custom built and looks, you know, this way, including the artwork and everything. But I mean, you can build them a little cheaper if you don't put any artwork on it, or if you decide to print it yourself, etc., etc. Or if you don't use the plexi. I really like the plexi. I think it's really easy to do, and it makes a really nice bezel. By spray painting it the way I did. But you can go a little cheaper. You can build them cheaper if you want. But I just chose not to because I wanted to go, you know, all out. And they really look sharp. They really look slick and nice. and the graphics really just make them pop and stuff, and so does the plexi that's tinted. So I guess that's it for this episode. So if you guys have any comments or anything, please leave them below. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer it as I can. You could also hit me up at Twitter. I'm at Del's Arcade over there. Don't forget to subscribe here and also hit the little bell. I think they added the bell now, so you have to click that if you want it to send you notifications. So that way, you know, even though you're subscribed, when you log in, it'll show all my videos and stuff that are new. However, if you have the bell, it'll actually notify you by email and then say, hey, you know, I posted a new video. So it's really important that you guys enable that so you don't miss any episodes, because I have a lot planned. I have so many projects, too much stuff going on. So, all right, guys, so without further ado, I guess I'm going to end this video, and I guess I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.